I think we are. Are we live? Yes, we're live. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to this, our Sunday session of home practice. I'm Rachel Lovegrove, as you all know. This is a session for guided home practice, so not for beginners. It's not a talk class. It's simply a session for you to follow along with me as we practice together this Sunday. Now, we've got standing poses this week. We've been working on standing poses. So make sure you've got whatever you need for your standing poses. So I've got a couple of bricks here for me, and belts, bolsters, chair if you need one. If you need the wall for balancing poses like Vrikshasana, tree pose, then seat yourself near to a wall so that we can practice this quite seamlessly and smoothly. And I've got my timer. So we're good to go. All right, so I'm going to start with the invocation to Patanjali, as usual. So we'll take the thighs out, sit in Swastikasana, and then bring the palms together in front of the chest. Don't worry, she's just being fed, so hopefully she won't attack. Okay, and then close your eyes, draw your senses inwards, and I'll chant the invocation. Join along with me if you know it, or just sit and listen. Yogena chitasya padena vacham malam sharirasya javaidhyakena yopa karotam pravaram muninam patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi abahu purushakaram Shankachakra Siddharinam Sahasra Shirasam Setam Pranamami Patanjalim Hari Om. Maintaining the lift in the chest, draw the head down into the space of the heart and exhale, release the arms. Lift the head, open the eyes, and extend your legs forwards. Okay, so we're going to start right away with Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana 1 and 2. So for that, we need to stand up, and I'm going to use my wall because I've got a nice little ledge here to put my foot in, but if you want to use your chair, get your chair ready, or whatever you're going to use. And make sure that it's a height that you can manage. Yeah, so don't go too high. So I'm going to get the timer ready, and we'll do a minute each side. I'm going to do first of all the one with the leg going straight forwards. That's UHP 1, and then we'll do UHP 2, taking the leg out to the side. Okay. So hopefully the timer will work. There we go. So first one, taking the right leg up. So remember, I'm not giving teaching points as such, but if there's something where you need an alternative, I will mention that. So a mainly silent guided practice. But what I will say to you today is take some awareness to your breath. And if you need to come down before the timer goes, then come down and just standing Tadasana. So other side. And sorry, Ujjita Hastasana 2. So that's taking the leg out to the side. I'm not mirroring you today, so I'm taking my right leg out. If you've just tuned in, we're doing our standing poses sequence, timed guided practice, mostly silent, no tuition. And we're focusing through the poses on the breath. And then change sides. And then come down. Okay, so the next pose we've got is Vrikshasana. That's the tree pose. So again, if you need to use the wall, go to the wall. If you want to put your fingertips against the wall, you can do it that way. Okay, but I'm going to face the camera and obviously use a belt if you need it. Once again, it's a minute each side. So get yourselves ready. Yes, right. So I'm going to take my right leg up again. Not mirroring you, so don't get confused. You can use the fingertips behind you like that if you're unsteady, or you can take the arms up if you can balance. Or a combination of the two. And it's really helpful if you just try to gaze at one fixed point at eye level, or just above eye level. change sides. So it's not too long a hold, I hope. But as I said before in the beginning, if you do get tired or shaky, then make sure you release the pose before the timer and stand in Tadasana. But focusing on the breath sometimes helps you to find that extra stability, energy, focus to stay in the pose quietly. And then come down. Just stand in Tadasana for a minute before we go on to our next pose, which is Trikonasana. Just stay in Tadasana for the timer. And try and find the breath again, that quietness in the eyes. And if you have just tuned in, I think you can start from the beginning as well. Not sure of the technicalities, but I think you can rewind. Okay, and then release. Now we're doing Trikonasana next, triangle pose next. So you need to take whatever you need. Some of you might be doing it against the wall. Some of you might be having bricks, chairs, what have you. I'm just going to do it in the straight way, but with the bricks today. So we'll take the feet apart. I'm going to my right. And don't forget to follow the breath. And of course, you've got all those other instructions that you've been given or learned or studied. But they are there by default, and you know what you need to do, but try and go a bit deeper into the breath today. And then change sides. The hand can be up or on the waist or parallel to the floor, depending on the shoulder mobility. The head can be forwards, face turned to the front, face turned up, or even head looking down, especially those of you with the high blood pressure or stiff necks. And then come up and Tadasana again. Step or jump. So then we've got Pajvakonasana, and there's actually a typo on the sheet. It should be Pajvakonasana followed by Virabhadrasana 2 because we're doing the lateral standing poses this week. So if anybody's been thinking we're doing Vira 1, we're doing Vira 2. So we'll do Pajvakonasana first, and again use your bricks if you need them. 1 minute, just over 1 minute each side to give us time to get into the pose. So it's bent leg pose, and we're taking the hand down, and then the top arm can go over, or we can keep the top arm on the hip. And then change sides. Don't forget the breath, especially in these more vigorous poses. You'll notice the shortness that comes in the breath and what happens when you actually focus on the breath. What happens for you? What happens to your pose? And then come up and Tadasana once again. So let's take, before we go into Virabhadrasana 2, let's take a half Uttanasana for a minute. So find a space where you can put the heel of the hand resting on something, fingers either against the wall or on a chair, stretching forwards, and then legs underneath the hips, body parallel to the floor. Just 1 minute here. Okay, and then come up. So we've got Virabhadrasana 2. So go ahead, the time's on. Let's go for it. So legs wide, because it's a bent leg pose, and to the right. So again, I'm not doing mirror image today. I'm doing my practice with you. And change sides. Four more seconds. Okay, I have to check because sometimes the timer doesn't go off when you're there for much longer than you thought. Now, the Prasarita 1 and 2, the second one is with the hands in Paschima Namaskarasana. So this one, where you turn the fingers up like that and bring the palms together. So the alternative to that is to hold the elbows. So what we'll do is we'll do a minute in the first one, the standard one. Then we'll come up when the timer goes off, adjust the hands and go back down for the second minute. Okay, so you might want to take some height for the head that you have prepared. And then when you go down for the second one, it may or may not reach because the hands, the arms really help with the extension of the trunk. And when you haven't got them anymore, you've got to extend the trunk and the legs by themselves. Okay, so yes, start the timer. So feet nice and wide. And then the standard one is to take the hands under the shoulders first. And then back in line with the feet. And I've got fairly comfortable lift under my head. I can go lower, but I'm aware that for the second one, I might need a bit more height. So I'm not pushing myself down. I'm just supporting myself in a more softer way, more prepared way for the second one. So when the timer goes, we'll come up and adjust the hands. Come up, place the hands into Paschima Namaskar if possible, or hold the elbows in Paschima Baddhastasana. You can change the cross of the elbows if you're in Baddhastasana. And then release the arms and come up. And then it's quite a good idea to wiggle your feet in a bit and then come up because it can be quite far away after that. So we've got Shirshasana next. And the alternative to Shirshasana, head balance, is Urdhva Prasarita Padasana. So just to remind you, because some of you might not remember. But that's with the legs up the wall, but the buttocks at the wall, legs at the wall, body flat to the floor. And then if you've got your period and you're not converting, do Baddha Konasana at the wall like that, or seated Baddha Konasana, sitting up, okay? So that's the alternatives to Shishasana. And trust me, I can't see you, so it's up to you what you do. Do something, don't just sit on your sofa watching this. There's not much to see. And yoga, as you know, is not a spectator sport, or it shouldn't be. Now we're going to do 3 minutes, just 3 minutes only today on Shishasana. So I'm going to set the timer for 3 minutes, 15 seconds, so that when I click it, it gives me time to go up. So either go up now or get yourselves ready to go up and be safe. Use the wall if you need it. Okay. So when you get that feeling that you have to come down, again, try to take a few more breaths and recharge your tired shoulders, your tired legs, just for a couple of breaths. And you might find that that starts the process of lengthening your stay in the pose efficiently. And obviously, if your neck is feeling compressed, you have to come down. And if you go up again, just go up once and then give it another go, but don't jump up and down all the time. Try and find that quietness. It's a very meditative pose, Shishasana, actually. In the beginning, it's not, but that's what you're striving towards, that equanimity in the pose, that quietness. And when you come down, don't just drop. See if you can maintain the lift in your shoulders, even if the last minute you have to drop. See if you can maintain that lift. And then just rest in Adho Mukha Virasana. Okay, and then we'll stop that timer and come up. Okay, those that were lying down, you can come up now as well. So we were doing next Virasana, Pavatasana. So Virasana, hero pose, you need to take whatever height's suitable. So you might be sitting on a bolster or a block or sitting on the floor. Okay, and we're going to take again. Let's see now. We've got Pavatasana and Pajna. So what we'll do is we'll sit for a minute, and when the timer goes off, we're going to interlock the fingers, stretch the palms, lift the arms up for a minute, change the interlock for a minute, and then Pajna for a minute, Pajna for a minute. So those are the kind of 4 things we're going to do. Okay, so we'll just sit in Virasana first. And this will give you an opportunity to realise that you haven't got enough height. You need to get more height. Don't be uncomfortable in your knees. Sit on a chair if you need to, or sit in a different pose, or just sit higher if you need to. And if you're not sure how the feet are supposed to be, have a look at the screen. It should be going straight back from the shin bones, from the knees. You can even close the eyes here if you wish to. Just for a moment. Connect to the breath and then reopen the eyes. So it will be quite a long time in this pose, 4 minutes. So you do need to make sure that you've got the right height, that you can sit there. If it gets too much, you can still do the movements, but stretch your legs out straight in Dandasana. You can do the same movements in a moment. So Pavatasana, interlock fingers with the left first finger on top first. Palms up, stretch up. And just observe where the breath moves in your body. So you connect the breath to the body and the mind to the breath. And if you need to come down, just rest your arms and come down. And then when the timer goes off, you can change the interlock and join. And then release the arms. Change the interlock so you've got the other first finger on top. Release and then turn to your right side for Pajna. You might need to put a block actually under your back hand if you're on high lift. then change to the left. And then back to the front. And now stretch the legs out. They're probably a little bit tired after that long virasana. So stretch the legs out carefully. Don't slam your knees down, just extend the legs into the heels. Okay, so we've now got Supta Padangusthasana 1, which will come really nicely after that virasana because that's the straight leg extended pose. When we come to the sideways one, Supta 2, you might like to support your outgoing hip on a bolster. Okay, so I'm going to show that with my leg. So we'll need belts, unless you can catch your foot, and a bolster or a roll blanket, something like that. I'm going to have to decide which way to face you because, well, I might turn around actually. So the first one is taking the leg straight up, and then we'll do the same leg out to the side, and then we'll swap round and do up and then out to the side on the left side. So make sure you've got room to stretch out your legs and lie down. Okay, so first one first is the right leg up. And if you've got a bolster or something, put that already there. And then stretch that right leg up. And do this really for the recovery of the knees and the circulation in the lower leg, rather than pulling your leg further and further. Just do it for the recovery of the knees. It's really nice to do that after a long virasana. We've got another virasana coming, so this will give the knees a bit of a refresh from that angle. Oh, the timer didn't go off. There we go. So sometimes that happens. So let's take the leg out to the side now. I thought that minute was getting longer and longer. I'll keep my eye on it this time. You can also have the foot against the wall, the right foot against the wall. That's another method that we explored this week. or last week I think it was actually. Especially if you're very tired, that might be a nice way to do it, with the foot against the wall. Keeping my eye on it. There you go. It worked that time. So I'm going to turn myself around because I haven't really got room there to take the leg out to the side. And now it's the left leg up. And then out to the side. And then release. Okay, so we've got now Supta Virasana, Supta Baddha Konasana. So for Supta Virasana, it's one of those poses where you don't always know how much height you're going to need. So I'm going to show what I normally go for, and you might see me adjusting that, all right? If you can't do Supta Virasana, you can sit in Virasana again, this time with the eyes closed. So more quiet and meditative pose. Or you can do Shavasana 2 with the legs straight out, but still with the body supported, okay? So I'm going to take 2 blankets because I need a little bit extra for the spine. So get your setup ready. Have a little play with it, especially if you're still learning it. We did a lot of talk about this pose this week, and some people asked me questions about it. Could I do another video on it? I'm not going to do that today because I don't want to disrupt our flow. But if you just start off by getting to know your Virasana pose more, then the Supta Virasana will come a bit more easily. All right. So which I've got my clock. So we're going to do 3 minutes, just 3 minutes in this pose. Then we'll switch to Supta Baddha Konasana, and then it's Setu Bandha. All right. And if you find yourself hanging on for dear life and gritting your teeth and resisting, count 3 deep inhalations, deep exhalations, and then come up if you need to. Or you might find that after 3 deep inhalations, exhalations, you can find a little bit more time in the pose. If you've got your elbows folded, change the cross of the elbows. And then come up. And if you bring the big toes together, knees apart, just sit for a moment. And then when your back's recovered, because sometimes the back is really stretched, it can be a little bit, it needs a bit more time to come out. Then roll to the side, sit to the side and stretch out your legs. And then we've got Supta Baddha Konasana. So for that, remember you need your belt. Blanket for the head, same support, just a single bolster or folded pleated blanket. You don't have a bolster. And then the belt will go around the hips. I thought you might like this one after the Supta Virasana because it's a little bit more accessible for most people. And although I'm starting off on top of the bolster, I'm going to slide down off it in a second, so don't get confused, those of you that normally sit on the floor. You do sit on the floor for this, but in the beginning, you sit on top and then you slide down, so it slides the buttock flesh towards the heels and releases the lower back. And then 3 minutes in this one as well. And this is a lovely pose in which to watch the breath. Especially the movement of the sides of the abdomen coming up and towards the chest area. If you have the arms folded, change the cross. So that's the pose you don't mind being left in a bit longer. But we need to come up and do Setu now. So come up, release the belt. And you have your bolster for bolster Setu. So you can just turn yourself around. Actually, we'll put the feet against the wall, I think. So if you've got the wall there, move your bolster. And you're going to sit on the bolster and slide back. So it's quite a low bolster I've got here, and my shoulders go to the floor, right to the floor. I have to repeat this because a lot of people forget that, and they end up with their shoulders on the lift and their head arching back. But the shoulders are on the floor, and the neck should be quite, long, with the crown of the head going that way and the face looking towards the chest there. And you can have your feet pressed into the wall or your feet stretched out. I'm stretching my feet out because it's a low bolster. I can manage to do that. But if you need to put your feet at the wall, then do that. I'm just going to give you 2 minutes in this. And then we're going to do Shavasana. So if you think about 4 anchor points of the backs of your heels and the backs of your shoulders, the shoulder bones, not shoulder blades. The shoulder blades should be going that way, up into the body. Shoulder bones down to make the arch, which is the bridge shape. So 4 points pressing down, the arms relaxed, palms towards the ceiling. And if your head is being thrown back, you may need to come a little further off so the shoulder bones can drop down, or you might even need a little blanket under the head, nothing too high, or a pleated blanket under the shoulders. But we'll explore this pose next week in class, because next week we're going to focus on inverted poses. And you might find that as you focus on the breath again in this pose, there's more emphasis or more feeling in the upper chest from the diaphragm to the collarbone area. And then bend your knees, roll off your lift. Don't sit up, roll off, and then sit up from the floor. And we're going to finish with a 2-minute Shavasana. I'm going to put my bolster on the top of my thighs, a bit of weight. And then lie down and make sure that your hands and your legs don't touch anything, so that you have that feeling of being free in space. And absorb your mind into the breath. Let the body go. And just feel the whole body surrender to the floor. Especially with the exhalation. Just let go. And then bring your hands to your belly. Roll to your right side And then from there come up. And just sit in a swastikasana. I'm going to chant the prayer to the Guru today instead of the Shanti mantra. Okay, so just sit, fold your palms, close your eyes. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Hari Om. Bow the head towards your chest, saluting the light within, and release the hands. Raise the head, open your eyes. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. See you in class, see you next week, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.